broadcasting your live stream. So this person is actually controlling, and this person may be also this person, or it may also be that person. I understand how volunteers work, but this person who is manipulating they actually control what goes out. This person is just responsible for making sure it starts.
Right.
So what we've done is we got you guys set up with Restream, which lets you send one stream out, and then it goes and sends it off to all of your various live stream destinations. For you all, it's YouTube and Facebook. The good news is you never actually have to look at this Restream page. I just have it up here for reference. Our important thing is the application OBS. So you look at OBS and oh my gosh, there's about as much text and stuff happening here as there is on this entire desk. What are we looking at here? First and foremost, top right, this is showing me exactly what's about to go out to the rest of the world here. I can see that if I reach over here and I make a change over there, that same change is reflected over here. It's letting me see that. I've got some meters down here that show me the loudness of my live stream broadcast. We'll explain when we get to audio exactly how sound gets into here and how you manipulate that, but this will be moving. If the sound is low, we'll see it low here in the greens. If the sound is way too hot, we'll see it clipping out here in the reds, but that lets me see that here. Over on the left side here, we have some important information. This top left here is primarily for troubleshooting. This is where if you guys have live stream problems, the first question that I'm going to ask, especially if Alex forwards the question on to me, is what does this page say? Because this tells me a lot about how hard the computer is working, how hard your network is working, where the fail point is in your live stream. So that's what this is telling me. And then this right here is super nice. This lets me, and you all, turn on your Restream destinations. So if I hit start streaming right now, which is in the bottom left here, a couple things are going to happen. One, it's going to double check, say, are you sure you want to start? Yes, we are sure. It's going to start streaming. It's also going to start recording as well, because you can see the recording button went and changed to stop recording. You guys have a dedicated disc recorder, and I'll touch on that in a moment. But this is also here just as a safety. When I was tech directing, I had 3 recordings going at the same time, because if I knew if one failed, I had the other failed, I had the other, and if 3 things failed past her, your message was not destined to be preserved. I'm sorry. I don't know what theology you were spouting up there, but God did not want it recorded. So that is why this machine records in addition to your disc recorder. So now that I'm streaming, if I come over here and I look at my Restream page, you can see Restream has my information right here. And I can actually dive in and I can click on my view analytics here to see even more information about the health of the live stream going out. But for right now, I see a nice green excellent. That is good enough for me. But right now, if I go to my YouTube page or I go to my Facebook page, we're not actually broadcasting anything right now. And the reason for that is it's turned off here in the Restream channel window over here. So if I come over here and I turn it on YouTube right now, in a moment you're going to see down here it's changing to sending data. And again, these are off right now just for demonstration purposes. These will be left on from here on out. Just because I'm doing a test stream, I'm using this as an example. So right now I can see here, we're streaming. I can actually see a view count here, which is super cool. And if I come over here to Safari and I go back to our page and refresh it, you'll see our live stream is live now. I can also go over to our website here and refresh it. And we can see that it's live here as well, because YouTube, we are embedding your YouTube player in here. The way it's set up too is anytime you're live, it's going here. It's not tied to any specific live stream event. It is anytime it's live, it's playing through here. So if I come here and hit play, boom, I can see a live image, and you can see how long it takes for it to get all the way out to YouTube servers and come back here. Oh,
It helps if I'm actually moving it. Oh, let's see.
yeah, you can see the first time I moved it, and then it's moving. So there's obviously a little bit of delay coming and going, but we can see it's there, it's going to that, but it's still not going to Facebook yet. So if I come over here and I hit that, we're sending data, and now we're streaming. Now if I come over here and I refresh the page, we should see our pinned post and then our live stream right here. So that all is happening. So it's sending it here, it's sending it to YouTube, and it's embedded on your website. It's going to all of our destinations. It's doing its job. It's restreaming.
Gus,
Yes, sir.
Facebook and YouTube will automatically archive those.
I believe that, yes, I believe both of yours are set up to automatically archive.
Okay.
these. Yes.
So then the ones on our website won't, right? That's just.
That is just a landing page to view the live stream as it's happening.
Okay.
Yep.
So if we ever wanted to put those videos up on our website in addition, that would be a transfer from. We'll have to download the file from YouTube or something and upload that.
Well, the great news is you have two recording mechanisms here on site.
Okay, right,
You've got
yeah.
your live stream, you've got your stream, you've got OBS recording here to your iMac, and you've got
Right.
your HyperDeck down there recording to flashcards.
So it stores the file on that computer when it's recording.
Yep, it's storing it here, it's storing it over there, so you have multiple options there for backups.
Okay.
And I'm just going to make an assumption that we are actually on a hardwire,
Yes.
not Wi-Fi anymore.
That is correct. We
Praise Jesus.
pulled a wire to your office to here, and so you are getting the best possible experience with how everything is set up right now.
Because there's no way to live stream without some better connection.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Wi-Fi is functional to a point, and it's really easy to reach that point when you're live streaming. So now, okay, we're all done streaming. I'm going to go ahead and hit the stop button. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Yes is the answer. It's also going to simultaneously stop the recordings. You're going to see that pop up at the end. And you'll also notice that it has created, and you can see we're offline there too. Awesome. It stores all of those recordings in the movies folder here.
Okay.
And you'll notice that there are two copies of that file. There's a .mkv and a .mp4. That little dialog window at the end that says Remux Recordings, what it was doing was taking this MKV, making it into an MP4. Why do we record in an MKV? Because if this program were to crash and burn in the middle of service, this file is still usable. We can still take this in here into OBS, and it has a little thing in here that says Remux Recordings, and I'll let you pull that file in and spit out a usable MP4, which is what all video editors and modern things want. If we recorded directly to MP4 and this crashed, that file would be corrupted and no longer usable. So FYI, that's why it does two files, so that way you can use it. But also, this is going to be a little bit lower quality recording, not much, but a little bit lower quality recording than what is happening on your disc recorder. So if I slide over here to our disc recorder, actually I'm just gonna leave the chair because I got it down here is our disc recorder. And sorry it's all the way down here. There were so many things that you actually had to look at and pay attention to. This just happened to be where it fell. My disc recorder has simple, easy operation. There's a record button, this little circle. I hit it and it starts recording. You can see which card it's recording to because the red LED is illuminated over the top of it. So it's recording, it's going, it's doing its thing. When we're done, I hit stop. It stops. Now that the light is no longer illuminated, it's safe to eject. And I can take this and plug it into anything that accepts one of these cards. It is good practice to reformat these every time you go to use them, because there's no really intelligent management on this device to make sure that there's even wear happening on the flash card. It actually happens at the format process. The card itself handles all of that. And to reformat, we hit our little menu button. We go over with this little jog wheel here to storage. We hit our set button that's flashing here to get into that menu. Take our jog wheel down to format media. We hit set. We were recording on media number 1 because this is this first bay here. It's got a little number on there. We hit set. It's going to ask what flavor of formatting you want because we're going to offload this onto our Mac most likely. I'm going to select Mac, which is the default. It's going to say, hey, are you sure? If you format this, the recording's gone. That's fine. We're going to hit set and format. Cool. Now, if you forget to do that and this card fills up during the course of a service, all hope is not lost because what it's going to do is it's going to spill from this card to this card. It'll actually be a completely seamless spillover. It'll just break the file at the last possible millisecond and start immediately recording to the second file, and you can stitch it together later in a video edit. So FYI, yeah, if you start running over, all hope is not lost until you run out of card space again, and then that's it. But the good news is too, if you notice that during, you can actually pop the card that's not being recorded out, dump its contents, and throw it back in and keep on trucking. So FYI, that's what's going on down here. And for reference, this right next to it, this is the video switcher that I am about to teach you all about how to use. Before I move on,
Turning it on, I get it up. I know I've got Pro Presenter 7 now. How do I access this?
OBS.
Yeah.
So OBS is one of 4 icons that are actually living down here permanently. So on the menu bar down here, you have whatever is currently open, plus the trash can. As far as any windows, I've got Pro Presenter minimized, that's why it's living down there. Any minimized windows live there. 3 of your most recently open applications. These are some troubleshooting applications and setup apps that I've been using over here. And then over here you have Finder. It always lives here. This is your file management. Launchpad. This is all of your applications that you have installed. Safari, your web browser. Pro Presenter, you know what that is. And then OBS lives right there.
Okay.
That's the icon for that. If you need to launch it, that's where it is. In fact, I would not leave it open and running all the time. I would quit out when you're not using it and relaunch it when you are. Same thing with Pro Presenter, but they've made some improvements under the hood with Pro Presenter 7 to displays being connected and disconnected while the application's running, but they haven't been enough. It still doesn't like it. So yes, I would make sure that A, all your displays are powered up before you fire up Pro Presenter still, and B, I always quit out my applications when I'm not using them, but they live right down there.
Turn it off. I mean, actually shut it down
That's
so that nothing's
perfectly fine.
running.
Love it.
Okay.
And so yeah, that's where those 2 live. I cleared out your menu bar of all the other stuff that was not going to get as much use.
Gus, we had talked with Alex about potentially buying a second computer maybe in the future.
Yep.
But in your view, is everything going to be okay running through that one computer?
I think you are at the limits of what this machine can handle, and maybe in some cases surpassing it. Your mileage, as you use it, you will experience it, and that is where this window is going to be really helpful in telling us where we're at our limits. And already we can see that we have some issues already rearing its head. So we want all of these numbers to be super low. This is a great number. This number right here makes me happy. This is your wired internet connection at work right here, where we haven't dropped a daggum thing going out to the internet. Everything has been rock solid. Everything we've sent has gotten where it needs to go. But these 2 right here are the 2, hey, the computer might be having a little bit of trouble keeping up items. This is frames missed due to rendering lag, due to encoding lag. Basically, it is in order to take the video files video and audio being sent to it and manipulate it in a way that can actually go out to the internet, it has had to drop about 7% of what it was sent in order to actually make it get out.
Yeah.
What that'll look like is maybe a little hitch, little stutter every now and again. And so if those issues do present themselves to be a large issue, again, this is what I always ask for because it tells me exactly where our problems are. And this tells me right here, hey, we've got some potential machine level issues on that. Again, if you never notice any problems, awesome, keep on trucking. But if you do begin to notice problems, we'll look at this, we'll analyze, and we'll come up with a path forward.
Okay.
All right.
I mean, it's all. It's,
I know.
It's a hard worker.
It is a hard worker. It's doing a bunch. That's why I installed an application on there to make sure your fans are spinning to keep it cool. So now over here, this is the video stage. So we've got over here, this device here controls our PTZ camera. And just for demo purposes, I'm going to crank that speed back up so we can see it. So there's our PTZ camera. Great, awesome. And this right here actually does hook into this. I lied. This machine is doing yet more work still. And it drives this little controller for our video switcher. So at the top level, we've got some buttons up here. If you see a red light here, that means that this is what is live. This is what's going out on video. If I punch this button right here, it's going to immediately take this full button live. If I punch that, it's going to take my lower thirds and make it live. If I come down here, it's going to go green and it's going to cue this up. Pay no attention to the masking. We're trying to figure that out. It's not actually happening. But if I punch this and it turns green, it means it's queued. It's next up. So if I hit my take button here, it's going to switch my source. It's going to take whatever is green and make it red and vice versa. There are only two sources visible right now. Because you only got two things going on in here really that you're going to need to throw up there, with the additional being this lower thirds that overlays on top, and that will come up whenever you push that button, and it will go away whenever you push that button. So pretty simple as far as video switching goes here in the room. If I punch this take button, it's going to take whatever is green, red, and that puts it on air. Same thing with lower thirds, boom, boom, boom. Making sense there on how we're switching video. And then if I come over here, I'm going to finish on this and then we'll come over to the PTZ. There are two other buttons on here. Say for whatever reason you wanted to mute the audio going to the live stream. There's this little mute button right here. That'll mute it. And it turns blue because that is just visually distinct from red and green. If I push that button again, the audio from there will continue to pass. Making sense so far there? This little icon on the top says PJs. Again, that's short for projectors. If I punch that button here, we got some projector controls on here. So this right down here in the bottom left lets me change what's going to my projectors. I've got two things here that I can pick from. You good?
Network stuff.
Okay. So if I poke either one of these, if I poke program, it's going to show my program feed here up on there. So you can actually come in here, say you got baptisms going on. Get that off the screen. I can actually switch to my program feed here and you can throw that up bigger in the room. You may notice that the autofocus is a little slow. And that is because of the amount of light that's in the room. It looks like a good bit of light right now from where we're stood, but back to the back of the room, there's actually not that much light happening, and so it's struggling to focus. You do have that happen. There's a little button here that says, hey, figure it out, buddy. And it will snap. And I'll go over that again. But yeah, it lets me switch between, down here, coming back to this, I can switch between my full screen graphics and my program feed. I can also mute the projectors. If I want to black them out for whatever reason, I can mute those. And I love that I figured out how to do this. not tooting my own horn, definitely not. You can actually turn the projectors on and off from right here. So I can actually hit this button, boom, projectors are off, and you will see this switch from on to off over here as the projectors are cycling through. I'm going to let them cool off while I go through the rest of what we've got happening here in Video World. Before I go too much further, this little button, press Stream Deck doodad. Is this making sense? What's going on here?
Lisa, is it?
Is it? No.
Okay.
No, I'm lost.
Okay. I could tell from your face.
Yes.
I'm just checking everybody else. I hate to be the one dragging
No.
everybody down, but
No. So where did we trip
I'm
up?
lost.
Where do we trip up at the very beginning? Which is that's
Yeah, I
perfectly
use one of
fine.
those for my stream, so
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
yeah, I did all my commercials and
So that little box right there, the one with the red and green lights that we see down there,
Yep.
is what we're controlling with this. It's got a bunch of other inputs on there. Like we ran inputs to your stage for stuff, future stuff, and its existence will make more sense when we have more than one camera. Because
Gotcha.
right now, all we're doing really is just switching back and forth between if we've got a slide that's so full of stuff that we just need to show the whole slide and our camera. And if our camera also needs to have text from ProPresenter showing, we hit that.
Gotcha.
That's the long and short of what this guy is doing as far as video going out to our live stream.
Does it tell on there what each of those are?
Yep. You can see right here it says PTZ, which is short for pan tilt zoom camera,
Okay.
right here. And then full is just short for our full screen graphics. Up top here, lower thirds is what this is because it's in the lower third of the screen. And then take is just video. I don't honestly know why it says take. That's just video people speak for show the other thing. Is take.
Kind of a cueing.
And then we've got mute stream down here. This is the only audio button on this whole thing, which is basically no sound. For whatever reason, say before service, you're getting flagged on YouTube and that because of the music you play beforehand. You know, they're fussing at you about it. You can have it muted until the band starts to play, and then you can come down here. That's how this is manipulating our live video. Does that make a little bit more sense?
It does.
Okay, cool.
It does.
And then this one is just, hey, projector control. And we can see here, the color has switched since we looked, because the projector's off. Yeah, it's on, off, black it out, and then do I want to look at this on my projectors, or do I just want to see the full screen slide? And you can see, this is actually a bigger window of that, and you can see all sorts of little windows of all your sources. This is just a little check to say, hey, is everything coming through the way it's supposed to? Okay, cool, awesome. Does that make a little bit more sense what's going on
It does.
with this little box?
It does.
Excellent. And that's really all. Oh, goodness, we forgot about this boy. Talk about the PTZ control. This is a really cool thing that has a lot of knobs and switches on it. And until you find someone who's super passionate about video, you're just going to leave it in automatic mode for the most part. But when you do find someone who knows what these knobs mean, they will know what to do with them. Long story short, this manipulates how the camera looks on the left side here. If you know what they do, then awesome. You will be able to look at that and go, I know how to use those things. That's great. But if you don't know what these do just by looking at them, chances are you shouldn't poke them and you should just leave them in automatic mode. The most important thing that you can do with all of this, though, is actually move the camera around. So, there are two ways in which you can zoom the camera on here. There's this cool little paddle that lets you get it tighter, which it's already tight enough, or wider, which is T and W. Wide zooms it all the way out here. And tight, and you can kind of do that. You can also turn this knob. It's another option here. You can turn that to zoom in and out. Awesome. Then, to move it around, it's left to go left, right to go right, and down to go down, and anyone who's an aviator just cringed, and up to go up. That is a setting that can be changed if you do want to. It's just not super simple, and anyone who is not an aviator, that won't make sense to them. So that is how you can move this around. So if I want to look at Connor all zoomed in like, I can come here. Yeah, I don't have it up on the screen, sorry bud. But I can zoom in on him there, and cool, we've got that. But I'm sure you're already seeing, wow, am I gonna actually have to be moving this thing around during the entirety of service? That's gonna be a workout on my wrist here trying to track everything. Well, the great news is the answer to that is no. What you can do is you can actually build out a preset list. In fact, most churches that use a PTZ system like this, oftentimes you'll see that they've got a little Excel sheet that they've printed out that if they have multiple cameras, it has the multiple cameras in columns and then the preset numbers in rows in there telling you what each one of those does. So I can actually come in here, and I know Connor put together a lot of presets already, but I can come in here and I can press the number 1 here to say I'm going to do number 1 call, and by pressing 1 and call, it tells this, hey, tell the camera to call up preset number 1. And so you can see it snapped to preset number 1, which is just kind of a generic wide shot. If I do preset number 2, which is 2 call, it's even wider. Again, none of these have to stay because you can record your own, and I'll show you that out a bit. 3 call, zooming in over on the organ position. So you can record down, gosh, I don't even know how many presets. Lots of presets, because it can go into triple digits of presets. You can record all sorts of presets in here. And if I wanted to record my own, I can come in here and I'm just going to set this up. Oh, we're going to create a really fun one. We're just going to spin this sucker all the way around because it does have darn near 360 degrees of motion to it. And we're going to create the exit sign preset.
That's what we named your picture too.
That's exactly right.
Right there. Oh, so artistic. Look, it's off to the left of the frame. Oh, I love it.
The rule of thirds.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going to record this as preset number 9. And so I'm going to go 9. I'm going to find my preset button and I'm going to press and hold it until it says def first 09. Or in other words, defined preset 009.
Gotcha.
So now if I hit 1 and call, woo, I'm going to snap to that. And if I go 9 and call, woo, there's my preset that I just recorded.
That's a pretty fast.
It is. And there.
So we could set a preset to Debbie or to Sean or to the girls or the pulpit.
To the baptistry.
Same
Yep.
spot every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
true.
You're like,
That
oh
is
wait, I'm
true.
going to need you to move over to the left. Okay, and okay, perfect. That's your mark.
We'll mark. We'll put the mark.
Put X's
on
down on the thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Stand here,
Yep.
Sean. Don't move.
Going.
If we get curious and turn the knobs, is there a way to put it back on automatic?
So yes, all of these have little auto lights here. And so I can just hit, so for example with my focus, I can switch that from automatic into manual, and now I have, with this knob here, I have control of manual focus, which since the subject is so stinking close to the camera, you're not going to see much of a difference in what I'm doing. Which, by the way, the button I hit before to kind of fix a struggling autofocus, which the number 1 reason for autofocus struggling is not enough light. Cameras like lots of light. So you can see Connor over here and Sarah. Ooh, hey, we're just gonna whip all around. Hey, Connor. And so you can see he's kind of a little fuzzy. I'm gonna hit my 1 push autofocus and the camera's gonna go, oh, let's get it nice and focused. Oh, great. Perfect. Same thing here with these buttons.
Great job, Connor.
We hit the button correspond. Oh my goodness, we got all sorts of stuff happening here. There we go, exposure. Each one of these. So if you hit the button just below the auto, it'll change it into different modes. And if you get lost, keep hitting it until auto lights back up, and you're good to go. Speed. We noticed that it was whipping around. These knobs right here control pan and tilt speed, and zoom speed. So if I take that, I go 1, call. Doesn't change preset. Let's look at that right quick because that's actually super important.
So what I'm thinking is when we set the presets, we just need to have a spreadsheet that says
Yes.
preset 1, Debbie, preset 2, Tim. You know,
Preset 3, 10.
4 and 5
4,
and 6,
10.
10.
Preset 5.
Well, it depends on where you're at.
So that way, if Sean's doing a solo,
Preset up here.
we know what number to go to, and it'll zoom into him. Or Debbie, if she's playing like an introduction or something, and that way the coding is already there.
Right. Does it save the speed when you do the preset? Like did it?
I am trying to see. Honestly, I don't know enough about this system in particular to know where that is. Ooh, I got a menu option. What does the menu? Oh gosh, that's not what I want, is it? Could that actually be what I want? Wow, that could not be more difficult to read on this screen.
That's what I was thinking.
Let's get over here.
Wow.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's better over there.
Oh my gosh, yeah it is. Wow. Amazing what it looks like in full resolution. Let me see if it has some. Let's go there and see if I have a preset speed. Because okay, yep. So preset speed is defined in the camera. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drop that to there. Maybe. Yes, okay, it's taking it. Let's go. 1 call.
Very good.
That's a lot better.
That's much better, yeah.
Yeah. So how I got to that is we press and hold menu. It brings up the camera menu,
Yeah.
and then that is pan, tilt, zoom, which we navigate with our joystick, and we select with the little button on the top here, and we came down here to a preset flip. And that's also where you can change your tilt flip if you're an aviator and you want to actually like pull back and tilt up. So, all right, cool. That is where that lives. We learn something new every day.
Just don't do it while we're streaming, or otherwise everybody's gonna see our menu.
Exactly. So, does this device and how it functions make sense?
Yeah, I think the presets are going to be our main shtick there.
Yep.
I mean, we'll be able to move it around if we need to, but for the most part,
Yep.
having it all set up with a code will be great.
Exactly. Yeah, building out that preset list is going to be the most important thing, because then, yeah, it's just a matter of calling them up. All right. Are we ready?